ladies, yes, it's 2024, and I have got the amazing Lee Tunney Ware on my screen for the first time this year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to the man of my life, which is Lee Tunney Ware. And Happy New Year to everybody that I've spent 2023 into 2025. Remember I said that I skipped 24 because 24 is already happening. And you know, welcome of course to what is our Extreme Business Set Mind series. And we are full on today because I have something, actually, I have a subject matter that so many people skim over. And this is a real layered emotional one as such in business. But this is a two-question intro, Lee, that kind of marry each other, okay? We're ready for this. Let me do this. So, first of all, do you, and I say do you, I'm talking in pretense here, not you.
Yeah.
Do you give mates rates for your service? And is this healthy for your business? Let me touch on that first before we go to the next question. Here's my philosophy. If my mate takes discount from me, he is not supporting my business. He is manipulating our friendship. My mate should want to pay full price to support my business. The second question on that, are sale prices, discounted prices, really good value for your business? You know, and so let's look at these two things, because I believe in my mind that the moment you start giving sales, the moment you start giving mates rates in whichever capacity to anybody, you're actually assuming people can't afford your product, which comes from your past, which comes from your lack of money alignment. What is your thoughts on that, Mr. Tunney Ware?
Very good. I suppose it depends on mates rates and how close to you they are. So families, are they mates rates? Like, but what I've learned, whether it's families, mates, or acquaintances, mates, however far out from the heart of your core network or core group you go, is I don't think this, I know this, never used to think about it, and I suppose wanted to help everybody. But some people throw money at a problem, yeah. So I'll translate that for you. They're happy to pay, but then their expectation of what they're going to receive, they take, say, a coaching or mentoring into a service. Oh, wow. What I mean by that is, so you go to a restaurant, yeah, you've got the waiter or the waitress, and they're serving you, and that helps with the quality of the meal. But and if you want anything, you ask them, well, how do you get to the toilet? Where's this? Where's that? And you expect all those things. When it's in business and it's coaching or mentoring or whatever you're in, is what is the parameters of what you're supposed to give, and does your customer understand that? Because what we can do with the mates rates is they don't have the value for what we do. But some of them, because you're their mate, expect a great service from you at a low entry price.
Yes.
Which means you're going above and beyond. You're still giving a top quality service or a top quality outcome. But because they're not invested in that, they don't always do that they're supposed to do. And you'll get language because they're mates is, well, I thought you were going to do that. Or I thought this, or I thought that. So it could become down to, it's the easiest way to say it is, if they're not ready, it's easy to know whether they're not ready because they can't afford it.
Now then, let me touch on that, because that's a big one. People will often, you know, whether it's a coach, whether it's a service business, I see a lot of people actually pricing down to affordability rather than bringing people up to affordability. Again, I want to put mates rates. I want to stretch the word mate and put it to an associate perhaps I've had 10 calls with and I'm now very friendly with. And they say, well, do you know what, Paul? I'd like to experience your services. And then I'm in a place of, okay, well, it's 10K on my website. And then, but we mates, we've had 10 calls. So do I go to 6K? You know, well, what do we do in that situation? Because so many people feel obligated to discount.
Well, that's the thing. And feel obligated to discount or feel like they're obligated to discount. Which one are we on about?
Oh, wow. Feel obligated, feel like. And aren't they similar? Aren't they the same?
Well, they're similar. So, for example, duck is a bit like chicken. So,
yes.
Yeah. So, if I've got share abilities, I'm not sure I can do this actually because of copyright and everything. So, the Tom Jones song.
Okay.
I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Yeah. I think it's it's a lovely song, and he's from your part of the world as well.
Yeah, he is, man.
Brilliant singer. But the song I'll Never Fall in Love Again, it goes, the lyrics, and you might think, where's he going with this? Is the song, I think, it's a lovely song, but if you look at it as in past, present, future, and what he's saying, so he says, I've been in love so many times, thought I knew the score. Right, so I've been in love so many times is a present to past statement. Thought I knew the score was an assessment of self in present going to future. Since you treated me so bad, I can't take any more. So because you've treated me so bad, I can't take any more, which means in the future I can't take any more. So now my assessment of self is lowering, that I can't cope in the future. Yeah. And it looks like I'll never fall in love again. Assessment of future. So everything is past, present, future, even though it's one. It's you, Y-O-U. There's no past, just your memories, your experiences, your interactions that have created data within your biological, psychological, imaginary, your emotions or your spirit. And you've got this organic combination. So when people say they want to work on themselves or develop themselves, what does that mean? It means that, in a sense, intellectually, in their head top computer, they should start strategizing, focusing, planning, and setting goals for what they want to do in their life. But to do that in their life, they have to develop themselves, or work on themselves. I would say you can't work on yourself. You can work on your house, work on your car. What you can do is have awareness. Okay. Awareness of, I want to devalue my product. Is that because I devalue Paul and Paul wants my product? Or is that because I have an empathetic connection, an emotional connection, that I feel bonded to Paul, and because of that, my friendship, my whatever. So take it right out into a different core. My son Josh, his car broke down, and he's found out that he might need a new engine, which is assessed to he might need a new car. Yeah, because his car, he's only young. But then there's the mum and dad element. Yeah, and this is right in real time. So I'm not really talking about my son. I'm not really talking about me. I'm not really talking about Roz, because Roz is going to come into it. Not talking about that at all. I'm utilising what's happening in my life as a way of communication. Yeah, but to all that's listening will hear that I'm talking about my son, Roz, and it can be interpreted so many different ways. I'm looking for the data that's in the interaction or the conversations. He's only a young guy, started his apprenticeship, and his car now, and he works about 60 miles away. So he didn't go to work today because he hasn't got a car to get to work. So then he's got the feelings and the communication to phone his boss to say why, because his car only blew up last night on the dual carriageway, and his brother towed him back. So this is a real-time problem. Yeah. He's got 1,000 quid in the bank. Yeah, that's where he's only like, 18, 19. So yeah, like 1,000 quid in the bank, he's on the apprenticeship, and he's paying rent like 60 miles away. So we all know that time of life. So not discrediting my son. Yeah, he's navigating his finances, developing himself, learning skills, so he has more value in the marketplace, so he has more money in the bank. Now, if he needs a new engine, that 1,000 quid's gone. If he needs a new car, he ain't got enough for a new car. Mum said, well, we can lend you X. Yeah, and I said, well, hang on. And Ros looked at me and I said, no, I said, there's a couple of things here. I said, why have you only got 1,000 quid in the bank? It was Christmas and this. I said, I understand it, but how come you didn't budget for Christmas? So I've asked a few different questions to make him accountable. Why? Because it's my job, I believe, as a father, to make sure, whether it's a boy or a girl, that the emotions, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities that they have, that if the problem's the car, but how do I develop my son inside that he never has this problem again, that he never has to come to mum and dad again for another whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you say it, he looks at me as if to say, well, my car's broken down. Well, whose car is it? Where's my car? So why is it my problem? My car isn't broken down. Now, you can hear it as a negative, bad dad, you can hear it that way, but that isn't what I'm doing. What I'm doing is inside making him emotionally accountable for his circumstances, because if I don't, I can end up, however well I serve him in this moment, I can end up being the Achilles heels for his next moment. Because now if he thinks if anything goes wrong, he can just go to mum and dad. They don't serve my life. But I can guarantee you when the day comes when I'm not on this earth, who's going to serve him then?
Mm-hmm. If
I haven't taught him to be emotionally aware and realise that things are going to happen in his life, and if he's not prepared for them, he's not planning for them, but he should be preparing a nest egg, as we would call it in the old days. Mm-hmm. So he is confident in his own being. Because he's had a lot of money in 2023. But he's got a girlfriend that's a long way away. So he's driving up there, 2 or 3 days away there, like weekends, maybe going on Friday night. Still got to drive up, drive down. Sometimes he's driving from the place he is to where the girlfriend is, which is like, I don't know, an hour and a half away, and then back a couple of times a week. Where if he budgeted right, he would have a lot more, but he's probably doing 50 to 100 quid a week just traveling. Unnecessary traveling that is emotionally good for him, however, financially not good for him. Mm-hmm. So when I bring it all back to mates rates, is with my son, if I don't allow my son to feel the experience, if I give too quickly, then he cannot sit in the emotion he doesn't like for long enough, which means he hasn't got the emotional intelligence for 6 months, 6 years from now. If his awareness is, well, that's all right, my car's blown up, well, I asked mum, they helped me last time. That don't serve my son, especially when he gets kids or whatever, or a mortgage, whatever. I have to allow him, in my world, I could be wrong, I have to allow him to emotionally marinate in that negative feeling.
Wow.
So he can have some intellectual decisions rather than Roz and I trying to solve it, is saying, well, what can you do? What are your options? Well, I've got no options, all right? Well, you've got to get to work. I know me asking these questions make you feel uncomfortable. I'm not trying to make him feel uncomfortable. What I'm looking to do is have him marinate in that feeling. So, and then I can say to him, well, look, rather than you need to save your money, do you ever want to have this feeling again? No. What are you going to do? What are you going to prep for to never be in this situation emotionally or in the real world again? What I need to do, Dad, is save 10% of my salary or whatever he decides. Yeah. And it has to be his decision.
Yeah.
But if I give him the instruction to do it, that isn't learning or education. That's domination. Wow. That's me disregarding him. That's I'm a great dad. Roz is a great mum. If we're a great mum and dad, then our responsibility is to emotionally teach him not to have those feelings he doesn't want again. So when it comes back to what do I do? Do I charge 10 grand or 6 grand? What do? It's have the awareness of why you're having that thought in the first place.
Yeah.
What feeling? Because it's going to be one of 3 feelings: emotional, physical, or spiritual. As in, physical is a fear. Am I too scared to ask John for 10,000? That's what I normally charge.
Yeah.
Am I too scared to charge? Am I worried that I'll lose the friendship if I do charge for 10,000?
Yeah. Wow.
Why if I'm of value to John? Well, it's friends, mates, freely. You can't charge your friends. Why can't you? If they're getting the same value as everybody else, why do I have to give more to get less?
Yeah.
So, and if John's not ready, this is the other side. See, if John has the awareness, for Paul's a great guy, Paul always looks out for me now, and he normally charges 10 grand, he's going to do it for 6. And Paul, on top of that, because John's his mate, is probably going to give twice as much as he gives everybody else anyway. So John isn't really getting a £4,000 discount. He's getting a 14,000 discount.
Wow, yes. Well, Lee, you know, it's incredible because when we think about it, you know, anybody that we know well enough to feel that we have to, or we feel emotionally obligated to give discount to,
and who's obligating you? Who's obligating you?
Well, ourselves. We're obligating ourselves to do
so
it.
in the personal development world, you need to work on yourself. Or you need, first of all, you need the awareness. By having the question, you've got the awareness, but you haven't got the answer.
Yeah.
But you've also got the assumption that other people have the same problem, which means you're not unique. And that means if you go, well, I know other people, so is that defense, or is it that you do know other people? Is it business or is it personal? Is it personal? Do it for free. If it's business and they want a business skill from you, and on top of that, if they're a business person, you're a tax deductible anyway. So because you're a tax deductible anyway, if they're a business person, then why would you give the government $4 more grand of your money?
This is brilliant because here's the thing, Lee. I'm seeing from this, and it's such a beautiful share, is that as a seller of a product, it's also my responsibility to teach the affordability of my purchasers' choices. Would you agree that it's my job to say, well I'm 10K.
Teach might be the right word, teach, and I get the point, and I agree with you. I do agree with you, but I'm not sure if teach is the right word. It depends where we go into it. So you do have to educate the market, yeah? So, I mean, if you look at the market, so if you looked at the market, say, I don't know, 5 levels, yeah? Let's take it on social media content. So you're putting social media content out. And a lot of people have the illusion, yeah, the smoke and mirrors thinking that I put a social media post out, that will get me business. And I need to post 5 times a day. And you say, well, Lee, there's experts that say that. Oh, there's experts that say that, and they're right. So the more you post, the more awareness you're getting in the market. But what awareness do you want? Do you want them to be aware of you, aware of the problem they're suffering, and aware that you have the solution or a product that has the solution for it? What awareness level are they at, and are you at? So if you're just putting social media content up, people are just aware that, oh, Paul's putting social media content up. So if I take it into a story that I think encompasses it, because when we decide whether we're successful or we're failures, first of all, why aren't we that busy? Why aren't we so busy that when our friend asks, we're not saying, well, sorry, John, I'd love to help you, but I can't.
Yeah.
Why are we going to discount? We're discounting 40%. We're also giving 40% more of our time. So a friend of mine, I met up with him, and he's does bioenergy healing, and he coming out of his sort of spare room where he's doing it at home, and he's going to go and work with a clinic. And he was really excited about it because he'd been sort of 3 or 4 years dabbling in it, very good at it. And now wants to go into sort of this local clinic, and just to be accepted in there was a good thing for him. It was like a mark upon.
Yeah. So
he said to me, so I've got to get my logo done, got to get a website done, got to get flyers done, got to get flyer copy done, website copy, all these things. He said, and his wife, she worked at a big sort of, for us locally, a big sort of department store, you would call it, and outside in the main area, a lot of foot traffic over the weekends. He said, and she's got me there for 2 Saturdays where I can put the banners up, hand out flyers, and sort of interact. So I said, brilliant. So he's telling me all this. I saw him about a month later, and he was quite depressed. And it's the same problem. See, it's the same problem. He was quite depressed, and I said, what's up? He said, well, I said, I got all my website done, got all the flyers done, logo done the copy for the flyers, got set up in the clinic, done everything, he said, and he said, well, I didn't get any business. I said, all right. So I said, so why are you upset? He said, well, I feel like a failure. Put all that money in, all that time in, got nothing out. Because when we're in that stage, or in that transition stage, that's when we normally discount ourselves out. Because what are we feeling about ourselves? So is it an emotional connection to our friend, or is it that our friend sees us because we can communicate? Our content is more intentional and we're being more open and more honest because they're our friend. But to the marketplace, we just put a social media post out, and we're not being more intentional in our communication, because when we talk to our friends, we're not talking to them to sell our friend. We're just talking to them to make them aware. How's things going? Well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So I worked with a client last week and had this problem. We got that. Yeah, I've had those sort of problems. Yeah. And that's where the conversation opens up, because we're being very authentic with our friends. What would happen if we were very authentic into the marketplace? But anyway, back to my mate. And I said to him, why do you feel like a failure? And we were actually sitting in McDonald's, and I went up to John, who now I used to do some of the team building for McDonald's, and that one of my companies did. So I know most of the staff there. I said, John, have you got a pen and paper, mate? He said, yes. So I put it down for my mate. I said, let's run through. I said, you said you were going to get your logo done. Yeah. Let's run through the things you've done. The banner's done, the website done, the website copy for your flyers. You were going to get somewhere to promote yourself. Yeah. And he said, yeah. So I said, let's run through. Did you get your logo done? He said, yes. I said, put a tick beside that. Did you get your website done? He went, yeah. I said, put a tick beside that. I said, did you get your website copy done? He went, yeah. I said, put a tick beside that. Did you get your copy for your flyers done? He went, yeah. I said, put a tick beside that. I said, did you get all the copy for the flyers done? He went, yeah. I said, put a tick beside that. Did you get a place to promote yourself, to hand out the flyers and showcase your website and banners and what? He said, yeah. I said, put a tick beside that. How are you a failure? You got 100% success rate. How can you be a failure?
Yeah.
He said, well, I didn't get any customers. I said, in my last conversation with you, you never once mentioned you were doing all of that to get customers. Everything you mentioned, you've achieved. But your focus was on getting a logo, a banner copy, flyer copy, website copy, a place to promote it all. Not one time did I hear you say, I want more clients. I said, and did you get set up in the clinic? He said, yeah. I said, you're absolutely 100% successful. But you assumed that all of those things were going to get your clients or customers. And now you're disappointed because they're not. Did you have a CRM system when you were talking to people, when you were handing out the flyers? Did you ask them what they were suffering from? Did they ask you, does bioenergy help with arthritis? Yes, it does. Yeah, you can answer their question, or you can say, do you suffer with arthritis yourself? Oh, it's not for me, it's for my mum. Has she suffered with it for long?
Yeah.
And whereabouts, how's it affecting her? Yeah. And if you've got experience in that, then you navigate that conversation so they have awareness. So did you have on your website testimonials from people that you had worked with who had arthritis and had benefits? Because in that conversation, well, better still, let me show you. And you take out your tablet and you go, well, look, here's 3 testimonials from people that have had arthritis that I've worked with. Does that answer your question? And then they go, you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. This is like a lack of self-sale value, which so many people have in business.
Well, is it sales or is it service? See, sales.
Wow.
Sales. This is the point. This is the point, see. If we're knocking at the door, see the old knock at the door, stick your foot in the door, and get inside to do a demonstration. Let me sat on your carpet and hoover it up. Just best record cleaner ever. If you're at that stage, or you knock at the door, put your foot in the door, and you go, well, look, you do know a good education will help your kids in the future. So would you be interested in Encyclopedia Britannica? The foot in the door and a lot of the sales messaging came from the vacuum cleaner salespeople or the Britannica. It was knock on the door, and that's the same language. We're in a social media world. If you're doing the knock on the door or the doorbell sales, but you're in the social media world, how do you knock on somebody's door in the social media world? How do you ring their doorbell in the social media world? So first of all, it's attention. And whether that's emotional attention, as in, well, I need attention. I've only had 9 likes today. It's not likes you want, it's sales you want. How many sales did you get today from your social media content?
Yeah.
How many people reached out to find out about your product or service offering because of your social media content? Or are you just interested in the likes, shares, and reposts, which is brilliant because that gives you more exposure, more awareness for the people that might need you. But if your content isn't focused in drawing awareness to the gap, the bridge, you're a V, it's a V. Yeah. You're on one side, John's on one side, and he wants to hop over the V and get to the other, but he don't know how to do that. He keeps sliding down and ends up the pit of the V and can't get out either way. He's stuck in life, let's say. So what my job is to be the bridge, not the tightrope, the bridge, where he can just walk across. Or it's a showcase to John, there is a way across without going down the V. Well, I'm stuck, I'm this, I'm that. Well, that's because you've tried to jump across. You've tried to skip a lot of steps. So when we want more sales, then what we need to do really is show our service, because when people see your value, they don't expect you to lower it. If they say you're too expensive, you're too expensive. What does that mean? I'll translate it for you. They're holding you responsible for their lack of success.
Wow.
If they say I can't afford you, they're holding themselves accountable for their lack of success.
Yeah.
Because when they say you're too expensive, it's like an attack. That means you're speaking to the wrong people. You're making the wrong people aware. That could be because you're just starting out, you've got your trainer wheels on, yeah, and you feel that you have to bargain basket your way out. It's nothing to do with your emotional value. It's everything to do with your communication value to your audience, whether that be social media, on stage, or on the phone.
Wow.
Do you know, hand on heart, you can solve X problem? Yes. Do they have X problem? Yes. And a lot of people do it on time. Well, I used to work in the corporate world and I got 50 quid an hour. Now I'm getting 100 quid an hour doing whatever. You're not actually getting 100 quid an hour. When you were in the corporate world, you were probably billed out for 3 times more than you were worth, than you were getting paid.
Yeah.
So you were worth 150, but now you're billing yourself out 50 quid less anyway. Because and if you, oh man, when I say about the wet fish around your head, this is the if you took it all back to, it's too easy to be successful in these days. And a lot of people might disagree with me, because they go, no, it's really hard. Oh no, it's really easy to be successful in these times. Go back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, no internet, no mobile phones. Yeah. Well, we go back to maybe 30 years ago, like, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, probably 30 years ago. And even when the mobile phones were out, you never had the service you got now. I mean, can you hear me? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there he is. And then you're standing there talking like that for about 5 minutes, yeah? Yeah, and the most common thing you would hear on the street, can you hear me now? Can you hear? Yeah. So, yeah, the mobile phones were about, but the network wasn't. And you were billed £1 a minute. Now, if you had a 1 second conversation, it was still £1. So the way we would have had to advertise in those days was newspapers. You'd need a landline, and you'd need somebody to man it, or woman it. Yeah, so you'd have all these expenses before you could ever get in business. Nowadays, you can get in business by having a LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever, and you can be in the marketplace for free instantly. Whether you got the following, the reach, that's up to you. That's another strategy. But the point is, in a bricks and mortar world, you would have to pay for a building, whether that be for rent or buy. You would have to pay rates. You would have to pay lighting and heating and staffing just to be able to have the foot traffic come in. Yeah. Nowadays, you can have a free Windows shop front on whatever platform you want to use. Now, if you're not going to put the effort in, because I'm not being funny, if you were doing the bricks and mortar world, electric, heating, staff and all that, that'd probably be 30 or 40 grand a year. Most people, when they're going online to earn it, some only want 30 or 40 grand a year, which means you'd only really be paying for your rates, your heating and lighting. So the point is that if you realise, and the ones that are starting out with the social media and the website don't even want to pay for the website. How much the hosting? 300 quid for hosting. Yeah, that's your bricks and mortar business in the virtual world.
Wow, it's so true.
And if you can't, bear in mind when you go 50 quid an hour or whatever, and I'm only talking this as an example, is that 50 quid in an hour? In the real world, if you can't replace yourself, so if you're billing yourself out 50 quid an hour and then you've got your VA and whatever, then the VA is coming out of your hourly rate. So if you're earning, say, I don't know, 1,000 quid a week and you're paying your VA 400 quid a week, you're not earning, your gross is 1,000, but you're earning 600. But then if you're paying for your website hosting and your social media person, bear in mind, a social media person doesn't know how to sell. Somebody who does this social media marketing, they know how to post. They don't, a lot of them don't know how to write copy because they think by putting copy up, brand awareness. Biggest BS ever. Brand awareness is the biggest excuse. Give me money so I don't have to give you nothing.
Yeah.
McDonald's didn't have brand awareness when they started out. Nike didn't have brand awareness when they started out. Steve Jobs never had brand awareness when they started out. He started out in a garage. He started out in a garage and he went out and had some sales meetings. Yeah, and he got people to buy. Bill Gates started out. Yeah. I think Bill Gates started out in a garage. Steve Jobs, I'm not sure where he started. But the point is they started nowhere and they went to somewhere. How you get to somewhere is you have to get past the emotions, which is emotions, your heart, the emotional feelings that says you can't go there. You have to get past the emotional feelings that won't allow you to communicate to go there. And you have to get past the biological feelings, the fear, insecurity, the nervousness, that's biology. You have to get past those feelings. And you have to control your excitement, which is your spirit. And if you are, by the time you do your website and your flyers, your banners, your social media posts and whatever, if you don't like what you feel and you become disencouraged, you lack pride, you're losing purpose and passion, that's your spirit. So which feeling is getting in the way of your success? Because if you don't know something, that's knowledge. If you can't see something, that's imagination. If you can't understand something, I don't know how to do X, then realize that's something in your intellect. I can't see myself doing X is something in your imagination. I feel like I can't do it, then deal with the feel like feeling because that's your barrier to entry to success. Your feelings, one of three, physical, emotional, or spiritual, is what's going to get in your way.
Wow,
when
Lee.
you deal with that, when you deal with those feelings, you remove, because you remove what disables you to enable you. What disables you to enable you? What feelings do you have that enables you? Enables you to be a failure. Wow. So when it comes to back mates rates and whatever, bear in mind, if they're getting mates rates, you're in a virtual world, that 40% that you're giving away if you do it $4,000 cheaper is your bricks and mortar rates, lighting, heating. Bear in mind, at home, you've still got it. But by giving your mate your discounted rates, you're becoming the victim of success, the victim of his success, because that $4,000 was your marketing budget, your cost per acquisition. That $4,000 was getting somebody in to be able to, as a VA, to reduce the mundane monkey tasks that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. Your value is in your skill or your service or your product. Yeah, but if you're discounted by 40%, then it's either you love your friend too much. I love my son with everything, but I won't allow him to stay in the emotion that will deny him success.
Well, let me come in, and that was beautiful because here's where we are. We completely run out of time, and use the message here, everybody, is that regardless of who that person is, what the relationship it is, if that person is charging you for your full time, you charge them for what is your full time.
And if not, then find something where you can trade. If they haven't got the money, I don't know what else they can do. Like with my son, there's loads of jobs around our place, and I will make him feel that he didn't get that money for nothing.
A trade is healthy if it's the right trade. I agree with that.
Yeah. But it has to be an intellectual trade or an emotional trade where they're not the same person after it. And if they don't like you, because you won't give them what they want. If they don't like you or they're no longer your friend because you won't discount your service, they were never your friend in the first place.
Wow. Lee Tennyware, another brilliant, of course, Extreme Business Set Mind episodes. I love it. It's beautiful. And of course, like, subscribe, drop in comments, all these beautiful things, and watch this space, because Lee has got something fantastic coming up in the early part of this year, which is very unique to all these episodes, taking it to another level. It's going to be something beautiful for the elite for sure. And until this time next week, Mr. Tennyware, thank you so much, and bye for now.
Bye for now.